In this video, we are going to crochet the Thelma bag together. This video is an additional resource to the written pattern that you can find in my Etsy shop that I have linked in the description box below. We will be using a 4.5mm hook and cotton Aran yarn. You can either use Rico Design Creative Cotton Aran or Drops Paris, that is also Aran 100% cotton. These two yarns have the same thickness. And we will be using a 4.5mm hook because we want our stitches to be a little bit tight. I have started by doing 46 chains and I have placed a stitch marker on the 44th chain. So let's start doing our first round. I'm going to do my first double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, exactly after my stitch marker. I'm going to place a stitch marker in the first stitch, and I will be doing that throughout the whole project. Next, we are going to continue with linked double crochet, and it's the stitch that we will be working with throughout the whole project. If you don't know how to do a linked double crochet, I have prepared another video that I will link in the description box below. So let's continue with the linked double crochets. And always remember that the first row of the first stitch, of each round will be a regular double crochet, and the rest are going to be linked double crochets. So in total, I want to do 41 linked double crochets, together with the first one that was a regular double crochet. We will have 42 stitches. Okay, so let's do that and meet here in the end of my chain. So here we are. I have done in total 42 stitches, and I have the last chain left here. In the last chain, I will do 3 linked double crochets, and I will place a stitch marker in the first and in the third stitch. Here we have the first one. Let's do the second one and the third one. And let's place the other stitch marker as well. Now we will continue working here because we are working in rounds. If we were working in rows, we would continue here, but now we will go around, okay? Like this, doing rounds. So we will turn our work upside down here, and then we will continue doing 42 linked double crochets. Exactly as I did before. Okay, and let's meet in the end of the round before my next stitch marker. So I have reached my next stitch marker, and this is the stitch marker that we placed on the 44th chain when we were doing our initial chain. Okay, so I want to do 3 linked double crochets here and place a stitch marker in the first and in the third linked double crochet. I will grab 2 loops here. Okay, this is my first linked double crochet, my second, and my third. I will release the stitch marker and I will place 2 new stitch markers. This is the third stitch and this is the first stitch, okay? And now we are ready to join our round. I will join the last and the first stitch together. Let's turn our work again upside down, and I will release my hook from the loop because I want to do an invisible slip stitch to join the last with the first stitch. This is the stitch marker that I placed when doing my first double crochet of the round. So let's release it. I will insert the hook from behind in the first stitch. Then I will grab my loop and I will pull through like this. I will pull the yarn a little bit, not too tight, okay? And now I'm done with my first round. You see, here is my joining. And I'm ready to begin with my second round. Okay? But before starting with the second round, I just remember that I forgot to show you, to mention something that is very important when doing the invisible slip stitch. So let's undo it. Okay? So we insert the hook from behind. And it's very important that the yarn is behind the hook. You see? It's very easy to get confused and leave it hanging on the front side, but we do not want that, okay? So always keep in mind that you need to have the yarn behind the hook when doing the invisible slip stitch, okay? So let's do it again. Let's grab the loop and pull through. Okay, pull the yarn. And now we are ready to start our second round, okay? So we will chain 2. This doesn't count as a stitch. So 1 and 2, and then I will do my first regular double crochet, okay, of the round in the first stitch, in the same stitch where I did my invisible slip stitch, okay? So let's do the first double crochet. And this is the way we will be working throughout the whole project. Let's place a stitch marker in the first stitch. Okay, and then we will continue with linked double crochets. So in total, I want to do 41 linked double crochets. And in total with the first one that was a regular one, it's 42 stitches, okay? Until we reach the stitch marker. So let's meet here before the stitch marker. So here we are. I'm exactly before my stitch marker. And now I want to do 3 linked double crochets in next stitch, okay? And this time I'm going to place my stitch marker only in the first linked double crochet. So 1 and stitch marker here, 2 and 3. So 3 stitches in the same stitch. Okay, and now I will continue with 1 linked double crochet in next stitch. And now I have my next stitch marker where I will do 3 more linked double crochets. And this time I will place my stitch marker on the third linked double crochet, okay? So 1, 2 and 3. stitch marker. So now it looks like this. I placed a stitch marker in the first of the 3 stitches, okay? And here I placed a stitch marker in the third of the 3 stitches, okay? We will continue with 42 linked double crochets here, and then we will do exactly the same when we reach these 2 stitch markers. So here we are again, 42 linked double crochets, and let's do the 3 linked double crochets in next stitch. And I will place my stitch marker in the first linked double crochet, only in the first, exactly as I did on the other side. This is my second, and this is my third. Okay, I will do one linked double crochet in next stitch, not one more. Yeah. Okay, and now I have reached my second stitch marker where I will be doing 3 linked double crochets and placing the stitch marker in the third one. So this is the first one. This is the second one here, and the third one. Stitch marker in the third one, and now I'm ready to join my second round, exactly as I did in the first round. Okay, so I'm releasing the hook from the loop. I'm going to insert my hook in the first stitch from behind. Let's release the stitch marker. Okay, the yarn is behind my hook. I'm pulling through my loop and I'm pulling the yarn. So this is my second round. For the next 2 rounds, we are going to be working exactly the same way. Okay, so chain 2 to start my third round and a regular double crochet in the same stitch. I will place a stitch marker in the first stitch of the round here. Okay, and then I will continue with linked double crochets, in total 42 for each side. Okay, and when I reach my stitch marker, I'm going to do again 3 linked double crochets, putting the stitch marker in the first stitch, and in between I'm gonna be doing linked double crochets in each stitch. Now I have 5 stitches in between the stitch markers. And then I'm going to do 3 linked double crochets again in next stitch, placing the stitch marker in the third one. Okay, so you will notice that this space in between the stitch markers will be growing for each round, because we will be adding 2 stitches, not 2, 4 stitches for each round. Okay, now we have 5 stitches here. Yeah, and in the next round we will have 9 stitches. So let's continue with 2 more rounds, and we will meet after we have done in total 4 rounds. So here we are, this is the bottom of the bag, and from now on we are going to remove our stitch markers, leaving just the one in the first stitch. Okay, so we are just going to be placing a stitch marker in the first stitch of each round. Now I removed all of them, but that's okay. Yeah, and we are going to be joining our rounds the same way, chaining 2 in the beginning of each round and 1 regular double crochet in same stitch, and then just linked double crochets. Okay, in total we want to have 114 stitches in each round. So that was pretty much it, and we will meet again when we have done the body part and when we are ready to continue with our straps. Okay, so there is nothing more to show right now, just continue straight forward with linked double crochet throughout all the rounds, without any increases or decreases, just 114 stitches for each round. And let's meet again in a while. I have finished the body part of the bag and we are going to continue with the straps. Remember that if you want to do a single bow, you will need to make one of the straps longer. So I will cut this yarn and weave it in, okay? And the next step is to count 45 stitches from the beginning of the round from stitch 1, where I have been placing my stitch marker, and place a stitch marker in the 45th stitch. So this is my first stitch, counting and placing a stitch marker on the 45th stitch here. So this stitch is where I will start doing my strap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 9, 10, 11 stitches, okay? These 11 stitches, that's why I placed one more stitch marker. Then I'm going to count 46 more stitches and place here and place a stitch marker on the 47th stitch. I have placed one more stitch marker. These are the 11 stitches that I will do for my second strap. And here we have 2 remaining stitches. It's the 2 last stitches of the round. So in total I want 46 stitches in between the straps in both sides. Yeah, this is not straight. Now it is straight, okay? So we will start doing the first strap here. I will take my yarn, a new ball of yarn, and I will just insert my hook in the 45th stitch where I placed my stitch marker, and I will chain 3, and these 3 chains will count as my first stitch. This is my first double crochet of the row. So I will continue doing linked double crochets, so 10 linked double crochets. In total it will be 11. I will just insert my hook in the middle chain in order to do my first linked double crochet here. Okay, so I'm just continuing. And let's meet in the end of the row. This is my 10th stitch and the 11th stitch. So here we have 11 stitches. I'm gonna weave this in when I have finished with my strap. Before continuing, I want to point out that I did this bag a little bit too tight. I don't recommend that, I do recommend to do it like the pink one I have done. I will show you. Like this one. This tension is normal, maybe a little bit tight, but not too much. And this is the dimensions I have on the PDF pattern also. So yeah, this is what I recommend. Now I don't know if it shows in the video that the green one is more tighter, but yeah, I just want to point out that this is a little bit too tight. So let's continue with the strap. So for the straps, we are going to be working in rows, as I mentioned before. So we will turn our work, and then we will chain one and do the first double crochet in the first stitch here, here. And then we will continue doing linked double crochets for the rest of the row. So first stitch is always a regular double crochet, and then we continue with linked double crochets. And then you will just turn your work again, chain one, and continue the same way. Just follow the instructions in the PDF file, and at some point you will have to do increases and decreases. Let's meet again where we will be doing our decreases. I have done the strap, I have done the increases, and I have reached the point where I will start doing decreases. So what I want to do is I want to do decreases only on one side of the row, meaning that I will start this row by doing a double crochet decrease and continue as normal. I will then turn my work and continue as normal, and then I will finish my next row with a decrease. So I will be doing a decrease when starting my new row and when finishing next. And then again when starting our new row and when finishing. So now I have in total 13 stitches. The next row will have 12, the next 11, 10, 9 until I reach 3 stitches. So let's do 2 rows in order to show you how to do the decreases, and then we will meet in the last row. Here we are. Let's turn our work, chain 1, and I'm gonna start with a double crochet decrease. So I yarn over, insert my hook in the first stitch, pull through, insert my hook in next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3 loops, 1, 2, 3, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So this is my double crochet decrease stitch in the beginning of the row. Let's continue doing linked double crochets. And in total, this row will have 12 stitches, including the first decreasing stitch, okay? So let's do that. This is the last stitch of the row. Let's remove the stitch marker. Perfect. Let's turn our work, chain 1, double crochet in first stitch, and then I will continue with linked double crochets until I reach the 2 last stitches, where I will do a linked double crochet decrease. Okay, here I have my 2 last stitches. Here and here. And I will do my decrease, insert hook in next stitch, pull through, insert in next stitch. It's a little bit tight, pull through. Yeah, it is a little bit tight. Yarn over, pull through 3 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then I would continue doing my decrease stitch in the beginning of the row and in the end of next row. Okay, I want this effect. I want this edge to be straight and this edge to start closing like this. So let's meet again when I have reached my last row, where I will do only 3 stitches. I have reached my last row. As you can see, I have done my decreases in this side only, and I will turn my work and chain 1. I will do my first double crochet in the first stitch. I will then do a linked double crochet, and I will then do my decrease stitch. I have my 2 last stitches here. It's this one and this one. Insert hook, pull through, insert hook in next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is how the strap should look. I have started my second strap also here. It's not done, but when it's done, the next step will be to do slip stitches around all the edges. I will start doing slip stitches here in these 2 last stitches of the round. I will continue, and when I reach the middle, I will do my button loop. I will continue doing slip stitches here on my strap, going around all the edges here like this. Then I will continue here and so on. Yeah, let's continue going around all the edges until you reach the point where you started. One last thing before we start with the slip stitches is that I want to tell you to keep in mind that there are no defined stitches when doing slip stitches around the edges of the straps. So just try to distribute them evenly. As you can see, I have already started doing my slip stitches, and I am approaching my stitch marker that I have placed in the middle of these 46 stitches that are in between the straps. Okay, so let's do a few slip stitches more until we reach the stitch marker. I will do my last slip stitch in this stitch here where I have placed the stitch marker, and I will then do a chain because I want to do my button loop. Let's grab the button, which I will later on attach on the other side of the bag. Here is the button, and it will be attached on this side. Okay, it doesn't show in the video, that's why I'm gonna post a picture here so we can see it. And good, I have started chaining, and I want to keep chaining and measuring my button. Let's see how this chain is. This is clearly too small for the button, so let's do a couple of more chains. Let's try this. I fold it in two and I'm measuring the button and see if the button can come through the loop. Okay, this looks good. I would prefer it to be a little bit tighter. So let's undo some chains and try again. No, this is too small. So let's do 2 more chains. It was 1 chain actually. Okay, and I will do a slip stitch in the same stitch. And now I have created my loop. I will just continue doing my slip stitches. Here is my loop. This was actually all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you do have any questions though, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will be more than happy to help you out. Bye bye.